Hello, welcome to Malkid Talks. Today, I'm doing a TV tag. Yes, my good friend Vance over at the Bard of the Red Hand set up a TV tag and it's been going around and it's my turn. Yes, I've been tagged by another friend, Jen at Lezbi Nerdy's channel. So, yeah, we're going to crack in and give it a go. No cooking today, sorry, no narrations. They'll come back another time. But before I start, make sure you hang around at the very end because I have a competition I'm running this month and I'd love for you to learn how to enter and to enter. So, let's get started on the book tags. Firstly, question number 1. What is the biggest change you want to see in season 1? Now, I had a bit of a think about this, and there were a couple of things occurred to me, but I think the simplest one, and the one that's going to be most effective, all revolves around the eye of the world. Yeah, basically, it's too much. There's too much going on. So even if it's one book, one season, 2 books, one season, it doesn't matter which way you do it, there's too much happening here. We've got random Forsaken turning up. We've got, trips to Tarwin's Gap. We've got battles with the Dark One, Baalzamon. Like, we've got all sorts of shit happening. And, this needs to be trimmed down. I think, at the very least, you need to be cutting out Baalzamon. Simple. Doesn't matter if it's 1 book, 1 season, or if it's 2 books, 1 season. In fact, especially if it's 2 books, 1 season, because otherwise we're fighting him twice in 1 season. But yeah, it just needs to be cut. We could have other threats if it's a single book, single season. And, we got Forsaken. We don't need to be having it. So, this took me a while to figure out. I had to go through a couple of cups of calf before I got there. But this is what I reckon. And Eye of the World stuff is confusing enough already. We don't need to be making it more complex in the TV show. So, question 2. What is the most important thing that the show should not change? And Vance specified that this should be from The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, or from New Spring if you fancy having a flashback. And for me, it became something very, very simple. We need to be keeping the flicker scene. Yes, we need to be keeping the flicker scene. That cannot change. We can't have that disappear. It's iconic from the books. The fans love it. We need to hear how they do it. And I think it just opens up the world that these books are based in and the choices our characters have to make. I think it drives some of their choices later on, when they go through those doorways, see those evil Eothin and ask those questions. This is like a gateway, pardon the pun, a gateway situation that just absolutely needs to happen. So, question 3. Which character do you want streamlined, or characters? And again, I had to have a bit of a think here, but I'm going with those subtle sisters from the tower, the Aes Sedai. Not specifically Moraine before you get excited or concerned. I just love this picture of Moraine from the reveal, so I'm using it as an example of Aes Sedai. But yes, I think we need to be trimming them down a bit, especially around the end of the Eye of the World, beginning of the Great Hunt moment, because I think we're going to get that in season 1. And yeah, there's just too many floating around. Let's have less. Less is more, people. More mystery around them. 100 sisters, manipulating the world is less impressive than 10 or 5. So let's have less, more mystery, more suspense. And I just think it's going to be a lot more what are they actually capable of? I've only seen 3 and they rule the world. What? So yeah. And just the names. Don't get me started on the names. Too many S names. Too many S names. Let's trim the sisters down a bit because, yeah, too many S names of those bloody subtle sisters. Question 4. Which cast member are you most excited to see bring their character to life? This one, yeah, oh god, this one was fun to talk about because I just think it's going to be brilliant, and that is Barney Harris playing Matt. I think he's going to be brilliant. I think this cheeky chappy is just going him in the village green with a badger. I think it's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to be brilliant. And I think he is going to really, really wow us with Daggermat. Now, Daggermat in the books gets, people don't like him. He's a bit of a dick. But I think he's going to pull this off and you'd be like, wow, he's an amazing character to watch in the TV show. I really think he's going to surprise us. I've seen some of his work. I've seen, especially the trailer from Starboy. Can't watch that yet because it's International Film Festival still. But wow. And just some of his other stuff. I really think he's going to get it and surprise us and we're going to love it. And it's going to be hilarious. You remember this guy and his social media stuff that was going around. You know, he's doing lives on Instagram, you know, like I was lucky enough to be in one of those live chats, you know, talking to him directly, which was amazing. He was everywhere asking questions, sharing music. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get him to see it on, like, you know, some beach, you know, being like, yeah, look at me tanning it up in Tanchico or something. Like, you know, it was amazing. And yeah, I think he's going to be brilliant playing Matt. And I think it's just, I'm so excited to see it. I can't wait. Question 5 is the opposite. Which cast member am I least excited by? But I'm hopeful they're going to smash expectations. And this one I had to have a think about. But I did come down on a character because I wanted someone who was at least important to the story, if not a main character. And my choice, Michael. Yep, Michael. I can't say your last name. I'm not even going to try and butcher it. Roose Bolton. Yes, Eye of the World. We are getting Roose Bolton as Tam Al 4. Yeah, this is Tam Al 4. Like, all the single ladies in the Two Rivers, you know, they're chasing him like a set of frisky felines. And it's all I'm seeing is that evil, nasty Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones who was manipulating all the nosy nobles. And it just like, oh, yep. This came out and I was like, oh, okay, Michael. Hopefully you're amazing. I hope you nail it. It was brilliant. I think people are going to see you and think, Roose Bolton, Tam's evil. I mean, I even did a podcast episode on it. So, you know, although that, Michael, you were not the inspiration for it. That was the slip of the tongue that caused it. But yeah, still, I think it's, you know, it just didn't wow me the way some of the others did. And yeah, hopefully I'm, you know, going to be blown away by his acting. I'm sure he is. He's an amazing actor. But initially it was like, cool, but not like, oh my God. Question 6. Which scene from the first half of The Eye of the World are you most excited to see adapted to screen? Now, Vance specified here it's before they split up after Shadow Logoth. So I had a bit of a think around and I was like, which one do I want for this? And, you know, I had fun picking this one, to be honest. I was like, do I want Beltane? Do I want a Badger on the Green? Do I want Narg? I was like, no, I want a battle. I want a battle. I want to see the Murdrel and the Trollocs chasing them to Shadow Logoth. I want to see that nastiness on the go. I want to see, you know, by the way, Skeeter, thank you so much for this picture. Skeeter, this picture is amazing. It's brilliant. I love it. I can't remember the name of the Murdrel, but yeah, by God, he's brilliant. Yeah, so I'm excited to see this. I want to see those Thakandar blades against those Power Rope blades that, you know, like that Rand has, that Tam has. Like, I want to see that evil work by those flaming forgers just in action, blasting lights as they crash together, you know, Trollocs everywhere, people running for their lives. Like, I think it's going to be epic, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, that's my pick for this question. 7. Based on the teasers we've seen so far, what are your opinions on the style and the aesthetic that the show is going for? And you know what? I love it. I think they've really, really nailed it. There's a rustic nature that you need to have that I always felt for these books, and I think they've really gotten it. I really, really love what we've seen. Here's just a few examples of some of the stuff we've gotten. The guitar I wanted to talk about because I just think it's, you know, a very, very clever choice. If you've ever seen the Disney movie The Black Cauldron, there's a minstrel in it. All right. He's not quite like Tom. He's a bit of a wuss, this guy. Doesn't do backflips, doesn't juggle. He just plays a little harp, all right? It's a magic harp that tells him, you know, pinks wires at him when he's like, thinks he's lying or talking bullshit. But, you know, it's funny. But it's Diddy. It's a Diddy little harp. And, you know, Tom's an ex-court bard, he's a gleeman, there's a lot of, you know, importance to him, and he doesn't want to be playing some dinky little harp. If he's playing a harp, he's playing a legit harp, and those are big. Like, he ain't carrying that on his back properly. Like, you know, you can get smaller harps, but come on, Tom don't do things by halves. So, you know, but a guitar, that's like a one-size-fits-all type situation. You know, a guitar can be a simple size, and you can get amazing tunes out of guitars. I mean, I've seen some guitarists. You can get drum sounds, snares, you can get all sorts out of it. So, like, you know, it's a very multi-purpose instrument, and the music you can create with it is brilliant. So, yeah, I think this is going to be amazing. Question 8 of the TV show tag. Do any of the props and settings we've seen so far match your mental image of the world? And I'm going to say yes. Yep, absolutely. There's a few out there where I'm just like, oof, you've really, really nailed this. And I'm just like, wow, I'm so impressed. So firstly, I think the dagger is pretty much perfect. Okay, now I know some of you out there are much more studious students than I am, and you've looked at that ruby and you're like, it's in the wrong place, it should be on the end. I was like, do you know what? The way I envisioned it, it's absolutely right. That ruby should be on the side the way I envisioned it. And visually in a TV show, that's going to work so much better. All this gold going on, like, mwah, perfect. Kind of thought the blade might be a bit thicker at the end, like in terms of width. Maybe a bit more point to it. I didn't really think anything of the sheath when I was reading, but the sheath being gold makes a lot of sense with how I envision the rest of the blade. But yeah, this is pretty nailed. Like, this is as close as it's going to get for me. I was very, very impressed. Next up, wow, Emmansfield. Again, so close, so close. I thought the Winespring Inn might be slightly bigger, I suppose, if I was getting picky, and slightly more removed from the village, a bit more on like a pedestal at the end of the road or something. But the village, just green being there, the giant tree, mountains in the background, I was like, yeah, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I loved it. And I also, Shadow Logoth, ooh, when I saw this, I was like, my God, did you actually steal it out of my head? If you'd whitewashed the buildings a bit more, because I just sort of faded, you'd have been pretty much from my head. This is like epic. I expected more domes, but again, this is a single street. Who knows what else is out there. So, but this was just incredible, and I loved it. So yeah, kudos. Amazing. The last one I want to talk about, now this one was really fun for me, and that is these wagons that you see. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not the Tinkers. I don't see two Tinkers tinkering like any pots or, anything at all like that. Like, where's the colors? Where's this? And I was just like, well, this is just conceptual art. Like, in terms of the shape of the wagons, they've nailed it for me. This could be traveling merchants for all we know. Why would they do conceptual art around traveling merchants? Who knows? Why did we have them randomly crossing that tiny little bridge in one of the other pieces of conceptual art? It could just be conceptual art. I think this is great. The feel of the world we're getting from this is brilliant. And in terms of carts traveling the world, be that Tinkers or otherwise, in terms of their actual structure, pretty much nailed it for me. So yeah, I love this. Number 9. Give an example of what you expect the music for the TV series to sound like using a past TV show or movie score you think is close. This one I found so tough. I couldn't believe how hard this one was for me to do. All I was thinking was just epic TV shows or, majestic scores, movies. I was like, do we want the brass from like the sound from the Star Trek stuff? Do we want, something massively dramatic like you get in the Marvel movies? Do we want something a bit more like pipe and flute sort of thing, with Lord of the Rings? Do we want something very iconic and theme like you get on Game of Thrones? I was very stuck. And then I remembered Nikhil. And I was like, oh my God, how did I forget Nikhil? Now, Nikhil is a composer. He's a fan of Wheel of Time, and he writes music for games, adverts, all sorts of different bits and pieces. And he composed a piece for the Wheel of Time. I hope the TV show picked him up and he just can't tell us thanks to an NDA or something, because this, I think, is flawless. I heard this. It's just over 2.5 minutes long, and I could not describe how much this felt like Wheel of Time to me. Like, this was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm not going to play the full clip for you. I want you to go over to Nikhil's website, find him on YouTube. All the links will be in the description to the show, and check out his stuff. But here's like sort of 30-40 seconds, a little clip for you. And this is just incredible stuff. Okay, lastly, all we need to be doing is tagging some content creators or friends and sharing this TV show tag out. So I have done that. We're going to start with my friends over at the Black Tower podcast. Yes, Andrew, Daniel, and Josh. I challenge you to turn this into a BTP Reacts video or a I don't know, just a podcast episode. Like, you guys have some hilarious views, and I can just see you having a serious debate about what should or shouldn't be here. And I think it would be brilliant. So go get, tell us what you think, guys. Next up, I want to see CallMeNakomi do this video. CallMeNakomi is hilarious. She's been on the podcast and we talked about Min, and I love her to pieces. She's brilliant. I really enjoy her Light Take the Wheel series, where she puts the phone in a holder, very safe, hands-free, records herself having random thoughts whilst driving back and forth from work, and edits those down into videos. I love those thoughts processes. In fact, one of them spied her appearance on the podcast. So CallMeNakomi, give this a go. Let me know what you think. I'd be really interested to hear your views. And lastly, I'm going to put up Rebecca from Reading the Pattern. Yes, she's done a lot of work on the TV show adaptations and what she thinks should and shouldn't be elsewhere. And I'd love to hear it in a nice, concise list that I feel Vance would enjoy as well. I feel like she's going to have some really well thought out views here. I haven't heard her talk about music, so let me know if you think you're going to pick Nikhil too, Rebecca. It's a great choice, so yes, let me know. But that's it. So please get tagging out there. But before I let you go, please hang around, because I do have a special giveaway. Yes, this month I'm running a competition to give away Volume 1 of the TAM joke books. I recently did the bracket and polls and competition to win Volume 2. I do this every sort of 5 or 6 months, give away a joke book based upon the best ones, and they're in the joke book in the order they came in the bracket. But I'd love to do an extra competition to give away a second copy of the first volume. Yes, that went only to Australia, to Nick. Congratulations again, Nick, for winning that last year. But I'm going to give away another copy. So all you need to do is a couple of small things. Firstly, make sure you are subscribed to Malkia Talks here on YouTube. Why don't you hit that bell while you're there so you know when I release a video or go live? And secondly, you need to be commenting on any video I've made this month what your favourite TAM joke is. And that includes making one up if you feel like it, instead of picking one that I do. And that's it. You do those two things, and come May 8th on my next live stream, I will put you into a randomizer and draw out a name and send a copy of the joke book to that person, no matter where you are in the world. So make sure you hit up the comments with your favorite joke. And whilst you're there, why don't you hit up the comments with what you think I said in this tag. Thank you once again, Vance, for doing the tag. I have loved it and enjoyed it. And until next time, everybody, Sukdrel Kwatan Nisagain.